Aloha. With this video, I had a few specific things that I wanted to mention surrounding the Bob from Glowbusters live stream on Bro Sanchez's live channel last night or yesterday. More so focusing on the tactics of dis or uninformed people, the tactics that they might not even be aware of that are used to, it's kind of like how there's some subjects, and I know a lot of people in the so-called truther community or people who listen to this channel know what I'm talking about. It's kind of like subjects that you are not ready for. Whether you realize you're not ready for them or not, you kind of leave them to the side, like you push them, and then when you're ready for them, then like a year or two later, you'll accept like, oh, okay, I need to deal with this. I need to handle this situation. I need to, but you know, a year or two ago, you weren't ready for it. So in a year or two ago, there might be an extreme to where you were actually fighting. You were so not ready for that information that you created some kind of psychological wall, to be like over explaining it, some kind of psychological wall that is a safety net of sorts, like a psychological safety net. And the psychological safety net will only work if you become, if you're in a good place. And a lot of the times people cannot be in a good place if other individuals are saying that you're in a bad place because of the actions that you're doing but don't really see them. See, this is what I was bringing to the table with the entire so-called flat earth leader mainstream, you know, little circle of people that were lumped up in that whole Behind the Curve documentary. This is what I've been doing with them for the last 3+ years. And their response has been to time me out and actually block me in comment sections of their videos when I was bringing these topics up, and then demonize me, and then demonize the information, my approach, and then also make their approach the only approach. This is why those kind of circles say things like, we need to focus on the main issue, where I'm saying, what are the main issues? And then they will not get specific about it. And then since they're not getting specific about the main issues, they have to use that same tactic against me or anybody else who challenges their specific issues. See, the reason why a lot of people do not want to share their intentions or specific issues is because largely a lot of the times they don't have them, but they have a general idea of what they think those things should be. They have this feeling, like this feeling of we should unify. That's not a real specific idea. That's this flowery new age. It's kind of like a heart-shaped box of chocolates on Valentine's Day. Is that real love? Does that mean love? Of course not. But it feels good. It has the same flavor of love, like everybody else is doing it, but it doesn't really get to the heart of the issue. It only gets to the facade. It looks good on screen. It looks good in the moment. But in reference to an entire life of experience, that love is empty. It's substanceless. It's garbage. So individuals who haven't gone to the depths of that kind of love, in quotation marks, in reference to so-called truth and information, all that other stuff, they have to glorify and make commercials about the heart-shaped box consciousness. So this is what has happened with the so-called new age, or the so-called flat earth circle of friends that they're saying, these leaders. And their their game is to play, oh well, we didn't call ourselves leaders, they called us leaders. But you know that since they were all about the numbers, they were thinking in their heads, well, if we're going to be leaders, we just have to, you know, if they're going to do it, we're just going to have to go with it. But they won't tell you that they think like that. They don't tell you that they will act like that though. And then when you approach them on that position of them acting that way, and then they want to act like they're not doing it. See, this is the game that they play, and this is the game that was played last night with Bob from Glowbusters when I was bringing up all these examples of them missing the entire points that a large group, a large portion of the so-called flat earth community that they claim to not be leaders / are leaders of in one world, they claim to not even know. I don't know what you're talking about. Like this, we need to focus on the specific topics. So this is the same thing that I made videos about Mark Sargent saying the same thing. We need to focus on the specific issue here, flat Earth. And what we're saying is that there are specific issues that are so all-encompassing of your little tiny ass specific science-based, structure-based so-called specific issue that when you tell somebody that their biggest thing is actually just a microcosm of a bigger issue, a lot of the times they feel threatened. And if they don't have anything to, you know, combat that situation, to get out of that insecure space that you just put them in, they will victimize themselves, or they will act like you're a bad guy, or they will discredit your information or attack you personally. So this is why when I was bringing up all these examples and different ideas, tracing back to how that whole group of people is missing the whole point, the dude Bob had to, you know, act like something was wrong with the way I was explaining what I was explaining. Now, I'm not gonna say that, you know, the way I explain things is easy to understand. I know it's difficult at times because it's so like all over the place, but it's not impossible, and it's not as it wasn't as incomprehensible as Bob was playing it. He was obviously playing stupid on purpose. That was obviously, he was not at all interested in seeing where I was coming from. He was only interested in defending himself to the umpteenth degree by making me look a certain way. This is a diversion tactic. It's a deflection tactic. The same way, if you talk about anything that challenges their story, they have to go back to another storyline. So you can go back to that video and see what was going on, and see the diversion tactics of him being there the whole time, constantly saying, I 100% agree with you completely, and then go into his specific topic conversation. Look at that video and see how many times he says, I 100% agree with you, but then take your 100% of what you're talking about and only really talk about like 7%, or if that, because most of the times when he 100%, or anybody of that kind of style of approach 100% agrees with you, completely agree with you, and then moves on to another thing, that moving on to another thing largely a lot of the times is meant to take away from what you just said. And in order to make what they're saying more important than what you're saying, they have to say, first of all, I 100% agree with you, but, and we have to also do this, and this is what's really important. So I 100% agree with you completely, but we have to focus on the main topics. See, what people do when they do that is that they are saying, as leaders, they are saying what you are talking about is smaller than what I am talking about, and we have to focus on the bigger issues. So when they say bigger issues like that, they're saying, they're invalidating the importance. They're invalidating the they're invalidating the importance of what is near and dear to you. And really what they're saying when they say specific topics, they're saying fuck your topics, fuck the way you're approaching this shit. This is the real way. Let's take Bob from East Oakland. Fuck your shit, man. This is about science, bitch. This is what we got to do. We got to focus everything on the mainstream media. We got to get all the attention focused on Mark and Patricia. Yeah, they might seem a little fake or whatever, but they're out there, and they're the ones that were approached by this documentary. So we just gotta go with the flow and just play the role that they're leaders, and then we'll just let it be, and then we'll deal with that later, because it's about the information, it's about the numbers. See, and then that's just a hustler ass mentality. They are businessmen. They don't give a fuck. They're no different than the hustler, like where the hustling shit came from. Like this is the origin story of hustling. So now that they got caught for being hustlers of a truther community, now they're doing damage control, playing like, oh yeah, we never took any money or anything like that, as if, you know, that shit isn't lined up in the future in some kind of way. If they didn't get anything right now, because we still ain't heard shit from Mark and Patricia, because their names are on Amazon Prime and Netflix. But since Bob says he didn't get any money from it, that's like speaking for the individuals that did get money from it, like that because what it does is that it puts the atmosphere of nobody got any money from this. And the real point is not even that. That's not even the point. The point is, what I'm saying are like, what are the intentions? What are the specific issues that you are talking about? And that's why I wanted to get on that live stream and really ask him directly, like, what are you really about, dude? Like, what is really going on here? And he wouldn't get on that. And I spent like fucking 45 minutes I don't know how long I was on there. I spent a long time like explaining exactly where I'm coming from. I gave many examples of where I'm coming from. And he just discredited all of them and just played like he didn't understand. Like he was so fucking ignorant to what I was talking about. He had no idea where I was coming from. So let's take this perspective right now. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt that he's completely ignorant to what I'm saying. He has no fucking idea, like he was playing in there. No, absolutely no idea what I'm talking about. He has none. Let's leave it there. Let's say that. Let's say that. How does that feel? Well, obviously, it feels like shit, because you know that he's gonna understand some of what I'm talking about. So if he's doing what he's doing the way he's doing it, why is he doing that? He's doing that to stay away from the actual issues and to focus all of the attention on his issues while discrediting and taking away from the importance of the issues that other people are bringing up. That's what his intentions were on that live stream the other day. And to defend himself and his friends, whether he was saying he was or wasn't, it is of no, never mind. That is what was happening. So, and this is the thing, another thing that was happening on the live stream last night or yesterday. People who are put on blast like he was about that documentary, his involvement in that so-called leader community, his involvement in relationships with Mark and Patricia and the conference crew, the mainstream media. That's a lot of shit to have to be hit with all in one point. So what did he have to do? Because especially if you haven't been saying anything for the last few years that you've been accused of that shit. So in this moment, what was his real, like, what was his real mission? It was defense. He's playing defense right now, because now they have been confirmed to be not worth a damn. They have been confirmed to be counterproductive in the quality realm of so-called flat earth information. They have been confirmed in that light. They've been called out for that shit for the last 3 years. But now, after that documentary, and even more so after the live stream trying to defend that documentary, they have been confirmed in that light. So, how do you defend against that? You make yourself the victim. So what was the reoccurring theme of last night's live stream? The reoccurring theme was Bob from Globebusters is the victim, and people like Vegan Warrior are the aggressors who are just really taking away from the specific message of Flat Earth. See, what happens is when they make themselves the victim in that, they miss out on the opportunity to speak about the exact issue. They're not talking about what you're talking about. He never addressed what Vegan Warrior was really talking about. He only addressed the dramatic effect of being the victim, while Vegan Warrior and other people who talk like him are the aggressors. So when you filibuster, what I call that filibustering the debate or the discussion, he filibustered it by being the victim the whole time. And then when you call him on it, what's he going to say? Oh, I'm not playing the victim. Just press rewind. Press fucking rewind on the damn YouTube video, and you can see how he even played the victim even more hardcore after I said you were playing the victim, after he said he wasn't. It was something like, it wasn't even that long. It was like a minute, like a couple of minutes after I just called him out for playing the victim all over and over and over again. See, and this is the thing, it's easy to play the victim in this so-called truther community. It's very easy because there's so many people who are so-called attacking you. So this was perfect. It was the perfect lineup when he had the two channels on there along with him, who have been, calling him out on his shit. However, they have been. I don't know those two channels. But he does. He's aware of them. Convenient that he's aware of them, but he has no idea what information has been shared on Subtle Infinity's channel. He has no fucking idea about that, but he knows all about the people who are attacking him, like on a specific, realm of consciousness, So I don't think, I don't trust that dude. I trust IPS more than that dude. That dude is fucking way, he just played so dumb. I don't think he played so dumb last night that it was way more obvious that they know exactly what they're doing, to me, and other people who know that they feel the same way. It's obvious that they know exactly what they're doing, because their defense mechanisms are so maxed out that you can smell it, you can see it, you can feel it, you can hear it. It's coming out of every pore of their response, because they're never dealing with the actual issues. But they're constantly saying, we're dealing with the actual specific issue. It's flat Earth. And then when you say, what is flat Earth? And you ask them, they don't say anything. They don't know. And then when you say, oh, well, I have been sharing what flat Earth is for so long, and you bring that up, then you're the bad guy, because the way you're interpreting so-called flat Earth is counterproductive to it's not the specific approach that they are used to. So they just ball you up in this whole like world of, you're a shill, you're you're racist, you're this and that. And that's another thing. This is another thing that is very specific with that so-called, truther group or truther community. How convenient that all the information surrounding flat Earth involves the university system, the colonial empire, the education system that is based upon lying to you. It's all run by a Eurocentric consciousness. How convenient that all the truth and all these other truther channels do the same thing. They talk about the Illuminati. They talk about the Freemasons. They talk about the politics. They talk about the Alex Joneses and the Joe Rogan. But how convenient that they miss the fact that 90+%, now, the high 90th percentile of all these disinformation and misinformation and Freemason, Illuminati bullshit, high 90th percentile of, what's going on includes realizing that race and racism, and specifically Eurocentric versions of intelligence, that is never spoken of by them. That was specifically brought up in the video a number of times last night by me and AM1 on that live stream. Bob didn't say a fucking word about it. He deflected immediately. Immediately change the subject, immediately go to something else. They can never speak about that truth. They will go on and on and on and on and on about the specifics, but how convenient that you miss the big one of the biggest points of white supremacy. How is that not a truth to be spoken on? How is that white supremacy mind control program, because let's call it that, the white supremacy mind control program, is not a truth that so-called white people are comfortable about talking about. They're not comfortable with talking about that, period. And that is one of the biggest barriers that's keeping all of this so-called truthful information from going anywhere. So you have people, barriers in the way, keeping you from going there. You have Eurocentric versions of truth called Owen Benjamin, Eurocentric versions of truth, mind control called Joe Rogan, Alex Jones, TYT, the mainstream media. Oh, but the flat earth truther community, they have no idea what they're talking. No. See, Joe Rogan, Alex Benjamin, Owen Benjamin, and Alex Jones, specifically Alex Jones, he is very, and I've said this before, he's very open with saying what he's about. People like Flat Earth, like when he talks about 1776 and we need to take our country back, those are strong words. And I've already gone into the depths of what that means. So if you're new to this, then just go, before you start typing away in the comment section, please go look at the videos in this channel before you get butt hurt and everything. So that's a very strong thing to say, especially on the blood and the bones of stolen land. You're completely the same way Alex Jones tells you to focus on taking your country back from the globalists, is the same way Bob from Globebusters says we need to focus on the specific issues of flat earth. What is Alex Jones saying and doing when he tells you we need to focus on 1776 and the globalists? He's starting on the first, his step one is fuck the Native American people, fuck the indigenous people of the United States, fuck the indigenous people of the world, fuck colonialism being a bad thing. We need to start where colonialism is a good thing and start that's great. We need to call that great without really calling that great. We need to call it great by saying, just call it 1776. Just call it like our country. And then people will believe it. Why? Because they don't have any roots to begin with. So they'll take whatever impassioned roots get thrown out there by a so-called leader. That is exactly what happened in the so-called flat earth community. They pre-positioned these Eurocentric mindset, mind-controlled so-called leaders out there. They pumped up their numbers. They put them out there on YouTube. They put them out there now on Amazon Prime. They put them on Netflix to control the narrative, to control the dialogue, to keep it focused on the same way Alex Jones keeps you focusing on the Illuminati and the globalists in 1776. Whether Bob from Globebusters and Mark and Patricia and all those other, Jaron and all those other people out there, whether they realize what they're doing or not, that's actually what they are being used for. And they know, in many ways, they know they're being used for it, but they can't say they know they're being used for it because it will make it look like they are a part of that system of, using people for a certain thing. So they have to play dumb. That's exactly what Bob did yesterday. He played dumb when I brought up and AM1 brought up all that information talking about what they're really doing without realizing they're doing it. They're being played for fools, but since those fools are called leaders, now they have to fake play like they're leaders. So what kind of a leader is Bob? He's a victimized leader. Look at his video. Don't look at what he was saying. Listen to his words in live stream, when he's really around some other people to so-called lead. Listen to what he says and how he says it in the moment. What kind of a leader is he? I'm not saying that he's calling himself a leader. I'm just saying that he has been called a leader. He's put out there as a leader. So what kind of a leader is he? He's victimizing himself. He's telling you that you don't need to be talking about other stuff. You need to be focused only on this. And that's what I'm saying on my channel is the biggest problem. That's one of the biggest problems, if not the biggest problem. Because what the issue is not numbers. We're not trying to, or people who know what I'm talking about. We're not trying to, get 1 million dumbass people to realize that, the earth is flat. What good is that? No. The information to educate people, to empower people is how you really make some real change. You don't just spout off some, let's unify, let's come together, let's fight the globalists, let's do this. That's coffee talk, that's weather talk. That's bullshit. It ain't got nothing to do with who you actually are and what you're really about. It's all about how you're seen. See, those communities are all about how they're seen. They're not about the content. They're not about the quality. They're only about the quantity. This is why they are okay with sacrificing their integrity for something like the mainstream media. Sacrificing their integrity for sacrificing their information is a better word. Because their integrity is locked up in to who they are personally and all the others. But parts of their integrity are obviously look at Alex Jones. He's a good extreme to use in it. Look, his integrity is completely compromised by completely avoiding the indigenous storyline and the human storyline. So who is also a group of people who is ignoring the indigenous storyline and the human storyline in this inner circle of so-called truthers? Obviously, these so-called leaders, they ain't said nothing about it. When in our prison, and like we said, this is the thing, this is that thing that they hide behind on YouTube. Well, we're not required to talk about anything because we specifically talk about science stuff. Well, what we're saying is that the system itself is gearing up to repackage flat earth from a so-called scientific perspective. And if you assholes are only focusing on the specific message of flat earth with a scientific message, you are actually doing the legwork for the next mind control program, especially if you are also ignoring the indigenous storyline, especially if you are also ignoring what we are talking about and have been talking about for the last 3 fucking years. But no, you're only interested in defending your bogus ass leadership pedestal by victimizing yourself against all these other people who are attacking you for how fake you seem to be. See, they spent years and years and years and years defending themselves about, oh, we're real, we're there. And then when they get called out for being fake, then they become the victims. Man, fuck that. I don't have time to be, why the fuck would I waste my time with somebody who's not even they're not even interested in hearing what we're talking about? They don't care. That's why I left that live stream last night, because I went on a very deep, impassioned rant about where I'm coming from. You can't even really ball it up as a rant. Like, that was very intelligent. There's some very intelligent things that were brought to the surface where and his response was just to ball it up in you're incoherent. Like, you're not making any sense, so I'm just not going to respond to you. And you see what he focused all the attention on with me in my discussion is the same way he focused all the attention on drama with him with Vegan Warrior. See, when I was talking to him about the information that I was talking about, his deflection tactic in that situation, just like his deflection tactic in the other situation, was to victimize himself against Vegan Warrior. His deflection tactic involving my conversation with him was to focus all the attention on specifically what Jaren said in the comment section. It's not about specifically what he said in the comment section. It's about specifically him coming on to my comment section to shut me down. That is the main point. And that's what he didn't want to realize. That's what he was not acknowledging. He was doing that on purpose to avoid the fact that, yes, Jaren did come on to my channel and Patricia did shut me down. That is the main point. But when you want to shrink it down to a subcategory within that main point, that's when you deflect from it and you can become the victim, and you can make me or anybody else who's talking about, you can make them look like they don't know what they're talking about because they didn't pull specific things out. No, my topic is specific. What I'm talking about is specific. If you're too dense to see how that's a real topic, then that's your problem. That ain't mine. So don't try to make it like it's my problem because I didn't get specific about. No, I did get specific about the topic. You were just too dense to realize what I was saying. But since they are the authority, since people like him are the authority in the conversation with YouTube subscribers, with this leader title and all that other stuff, since they are in that position, then they can say and make themselves out to be whatever they want. That's exactly what he was doing. That was the tactic that he was doing on that platform last night. He never really said anything in that whole live stream. I mean, I don't respect, and overall, there's no respect level there for how he came on there. Because he disrespected what we're really about. Like, I'll speak for myself. He disrespected what I'm really about by downplaying it all, balling it up into I'm just this incoherent, emotional nothing that just rants about blah 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 blah, and it has no merit to even speak on. That was his tactic. He never really addressed anything that I was saying, but conveniently, this is what he said. Like I said, he always says, I 100% agree with you. What the fuck? Stop 100% agreeing with me and actually say what it is that you agree with, like what you're talking about. This is what he does. He'll say, and this is a very complex alchemy or algorithm. When they say things like, I 100% completely agree with you, but... and that's where they're saying, yeah, they're saying like, I'm your friend, but you're fucking wrong. You're wrong. This is what we really need to be talking about. This is the real issue here. I 100% agree with you, but go fuck yourself, because these are the real issues. The indigenous people, the colonial story, all this other stuff behind flat earth, the roots of the empire, I 100% agree with you. But we have to focus on the specific topic, which is flat earth. The flat earth. It's not a globe. That's their specific topic. Because they haven't done the internal work to realize deeper issues. And they are being held back from doing the inner work by themselves, because they are still caught up in the little money game, the little leadership game, the little whatever. Some of them still might be trying to protect this empire. Keep that in mind too. Some of them might be out there definitely to protect this empire. And if you're using victimization tactics the way you are, when issues, like if you make yourself out to be the victim when we're talking about how the entire world has been victimized, you, sir, are suspect as fuck. If you can't even comprehend the position that we are making when we are talking about the empire's usage of different tactics against us, including flat earth, including colonialism, including white supremacy, mind control, including all these issues that we talk about regularly, if we bring those issues to the table while you are live and you victimize yourself and you avoid the actual issues, you victimize yourself when we're talking about a world, an entire world of people that have been victimized, you, sir, are yeah, fuck it. You know exactly what I'm talking about when I bring that up. I don't even have to say anything else. That's the basic gist of what happened in that live stream. Nothing of any kind of, I got nothing but confirmations of how I felt in my behind the curve documentary response video. I didn't get anything more. I didn't get anything of any kind of positive from Bob, because you can, it might feel overall, it might feel like you got something positive from Bob from Globebusters because he came on. He actually spoke to the little peasants. He spoke. He came down off his pedestal and he showed up on the Bro Sanchez live stream and oh yeah, Bro Sanchez has more subscribers than Globebusters, and he actually, Bob coming on that channel, another tactic is to use the my black friend fucking platform. This is another thing, because when they are not in trouble, where were we? Only when they're in trouble do they need us. When they're in trouble, they need us to give them more credibility. That's why I got off that live stream too. The more time he spent on there, the more street cred to the people who are kind of informed on what's going on, the more street cred they get in that like midstream consciousness realm of people. So that's what he was doing. He was just trying to stay on there for as long as he can, so he can say later on in other live streams, I stayed on the Bro Sanchez live stream channel for 3 hours talking about da 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 da. But in real life, he stayed on this Bro Sanchez live stream for 3 hours and didn't say a fucking thing. That's the truth of the matter. But he's all about the numbers, so he's gonna regurgitate the fact that he was on there for 3 hours. So, you know, this is all this bullshit, man. I don't really want to waste my time going into this anymore. These people are going to be about what they're going to be about, and it's going to take a long time for them to even acknowledge that there's something that it needs to change. They're their own worst enemies right now. And what I'm saying is that since they are their own worst enemies and they have been labeled as leaders, then if they are their own, if your leaders are enemies to themselves, they are also enemies to you, because they're leading you into the enemy lines, not even knowing it. They're fighting themselves by not going to the depths of what we're talking about, by not going to the depths of what we're bringing to the table, by only defending their shallow versions of what's going on here. And the proof of that was last night in that live stream. I don't need to go on any live streams. I'm not going to get anything better going on the Globebusters live stream. That's just going to be going into their world. Now they're going to have the power to shut me down completely, because it's their platform and their people out there. And they don't have any frame of reference to really acknowledge what I'm talking about. They're not really going to see what's being said. So why is it worth it? It's not. It's only worth it to go on there to them, because they get their street cred up. Like I said, how many, yes, did Bro Sanchez go on on one or two of the live streams in that little circle? Yes. But like I said, is what he is really talking about to the depths, even his stuff, because his stuff is a little bit different than mine in my approach, but he's been on that platform. So did they acknowledge what he said? No. Look, the same thing on the market when he went on the potato show. It was all about flat earth, like the behind the curve documentary shit. It didn't go into the depths of the detail of what he was talking about. It only went into the surface layer information of what she wanted to talk about. Same thing happened on Globebusters. And if you do start talking about the depths of what you're about on their platform, they will either victimize themselves or shut you down in some kind of way. So what use is it? I'd rather use my time and my energy going onto platforms with individuals who are open to building on what we're talking about. These individuals have been confirmed to shut what you're talking about down. I'll leave it there, because that was proven in the live stream last night. And if you want to go see it for yourself, you go see it for yourself. I don't have to say anything more about it. If you got eyes to see and ears to hear, you know exactly what I'm saying. Especially when we're bringing up this information right after this behind the curve stuff. You'll know exactly what's being brought up. So thanks again for all the people who support this channel, who support me when I'm in those live streams and everything. Shout out to AM1 for really bringing some clarity. Go subscribe to his channel. Check him out if you haven't already. He brought some real clarity to that live stream. Shout out to Bro Sanchez. He brought some clarity at times to the conversation. But you know, going further, I'm not sacrificing anything that I've been talking about or bringing to the surface because other people are, you know, behind the curve. Because I'm not going to put my fire out because other people ain't done their homework yet. I'm not going to do that. And nobody else should do that. Fuck that. Keep adding to your fire, and do not dampen your fire for anybody else just because they're in a leadership position, just because they are in this fake ass, you know, in their own world. No. Let them build their fire up to get up to where you're talking about. Never sacrifice your fire for people who are just sitting around, you know, playing with embers. Fuck that. Step your game up or get the fuck out the way. Period. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for the support. And until next time, from all my relations, peace, love, and harmony.